Representing Spain, Carlos Garach. 211, Cincinnati Aquatic Club, Alex Gonzalez. 131, University of Florida, Brennan Gravely. 132, Sun Devil Swimming, Dylan Gravely. 138, Villanova, Charlie Hinckley. 143, Sweden, Christopher Yedel. Also representing Sweden, wearing 144, Victor Johansson. 147, Sarasota Tsunami Swim Team, Evan Keogh. 148, Sandpipers of Nevada, Ilya Karun. 156, Fox Valley Swim Team, Chase Meyer. 160, from Spain, Alberto Martinez. 161, Sun Devil Swimming, Jake Mason. 162, representing Japan, Minamide Tashini. 164, West Virginia University, William Mullen. 167, Japan, Nonaka Taiki. 168, Victor Swim Club, Justin Nowicki. 173, Fox Valley Swim Team, Alex Parkinson. 175, Aiden Flieger. 176, University of Louisville, Jacob Pishko. 177, North Carolina Aquatic Club, Ian Platts Mills. 178, representing Spain, Alejandro Puebla. 179, Spain, Guillem Pujol. 180, Team Santa Monica, Ivan Poskovich. 195, Army West Point, Wes Tate. 196, University of Tennessee, Joey Tepper. 199, Japan, Sujimori Kaito. 203, Texas A&M University, Max Vega Cuevas. 204, Sweden, Isaac Vikström. 206, Lakeside, Evan Witt. 207, Northern Michigan, Wildcats, Andre Zach. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for all the competitors in the men's 5K Open Water National Championship. All right, good luck to all our competitors in the men's event. Let's get you introduced now with the competitors in the women's 5K Open Water National Championship. Introducing your competitors for the women's 5K. First up, wearing 403 from the University of Florida, Anna Auld. 405, Club Wolverine, Hannah Bellard. 406, Kentucky Aquatics, Caroline Benda. 411, Rice Aquatics, Shannon Campbell. 414, North Carolina Aquatic Club, Haley Clark. 416, from the University of Richmond Spiders, Alexa Connors. 479, Indiana Swim Club, Mariah Denigan. 423, Rice Aquatics, Ella Dyson. 425, from Youngstown State, Miriam Frost. 477, representing Fast, Elsa Fullerton. 427, Sandpipers of Nevada, Katie Grimes. 428, Cougar Aquatics, Noelle Harvey. 432, Rice Aquatics, Amelia Kane. 480, representing Japan, Kato Hanano. 440, Texas A&M University, Rachel Love. 441, Spain, Angela Martinez. 442, Sarasota Sharks, Michaela Mattis. 443, Long Island Express, Mary McKenna. 444, University of Alabama Swim Club, Kenzie McMahon. 447, Japan, Moriyama Yukimi. 450, Sarasota Sharks, Bailey O'Regan. 452, University of Florida, Caroline Pennington. 454, representing Spain, Candela Sanchez. 462, Nova of Virginia Aquatics, Claire Stolmacher. 466, representing Spain, Maria de Valdez. 470, Sandpipers of Nevada, Claire Weinstein. 472, Cougar Aquatics, Lauren Will. 481, Sarasota Sharks, Emily Treixman. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for all the competitors in the women's 5K Open Water National Championship event. All right, so as our women's competitors head out to their starting position, we'll check in with Mike Lewis out on the boat. Hopefully he can give us an update on the start of the men's event. It looks like we have two distinct lines already forming there on the men's side. Mike, how was that start?
It was a really clean start, Michael. Things out here a little bit choppier than they were during the 10K on Friday. A lot of these swimmers returning from that event to compete in today's 5K. A bit different, so we see you got just a bit of a tailwind as we come down the backstretch. Of course, this today is enough to where it's a slight advantage. You might be able to peel a little bit of kind of advantage going down the backstretch. But right now, just like we saw in the 10K, the Spaniards are out to a good start. Garache is in the lead right now. Following him in the second position is one of his teammates. And we're doing our best to get numbers for you right now as this pack settles out. But as we talked about throughout this weekend, one of the things we noticed at first off the start, you get that energy out of you. It's you kind of it's a little bit stressful at the start of an open water event, but you've got to quickly settle through that stretch, find your position, and that's exactly what these swimmers have done. Another dynamic that we've talked about throughout the course of the weekend is, what does the pack look like? The pack is spreading out right now. What that tells me is Garage is out setting a quick pace, and we're going to see that in a 5K. We're not going to see some of those cagey maneuvers that we would typically see in a 10K, where there's going to be rate changes and potential breakaways and other strategic moves. This is much more akin in the pool to, say, a 400, the strategy that you approach, where you've got a degree of strategy that you're going to employ because you've got to go. Of course, we're going 5K. That's the equivalent of 5100s, but it's not it's half the distance, obviously. And so what we're going to see is a much faster pace. They're going to be getting at it throughout the race, and that's what it appears Garage is trying to do, is just settle himself. He did this in the 10K, but we will then see how this holds out. But right now, we've got Garage in the lead, and the second position right now coming up is Ivan Puskovich from Team Santa Monica, and we've got another Spaniard in there. It looks like Alejandro Puebla is in the third position, and from there, it's just a little bit hard to tell. But we will keep you posted out here right now as things get going. And the women's race, I can see off in the distance, is now off and going.
So today's race will be 3 laps around this 1.6K course as we see our opening race here, the men's 5K, making their way now onto the second length of the first lap, potentially facing some headwinds here. We've seen pretty much ideal racing conditions here at Nathan Benderson Park. Water temp around 79 degrees. Air temp in the upper 60s at race start time. So, Mike, how are things leading out here as they come onto this straightaway?
Well, on this straightaway, what we're seeing is the 3 Spaniards are working together. Garage in the lead. Our top American right now is Ivan Puskovich of Team Santa Monica. The Gravely brothers, just like we saw during the 10K, doing some work together, and they're kind of in that mix too. A little bit difficult for us to see right now. What we're going to see is we got Brendan Gravely. Today he's in a green Florida cap. He's in the 4th position. We got 3 Spaniards leading. Puskovich is Puskovich is about in the 3rd position, tied with one of the Spaniards, and then we've got Gravely in the 5th position. So they are moving super fast right now. They are cranking. Like I said at the beginning, we're going to see the 5K rate be much, much faster. Super exciting. If you're not familiar with open water swimming, you're watching on the broadcast, you're here in the venue, it's just remarkable when you consider how fast these guys are moving for 5 kilometers. And we're going to see this. We're not going to see any backing off. This is what it's going to look like for the preponderance of this race. So right now what we've got coming down this stretch are the 3 Spaniards in the lead. In about the 4th position is Puskovich. Right next to him is Brendan Gravely. And not far behind is his brother, Dylan, and he's again in the yellow ASU cap. So that's what we got right now from this race. And we're going to spin around at some point here relatively soon and go ahead and have a look and see what the women's field is doing. Some people may wonder if you were here for the 10K, why aren't they feeding in 5K? Well, you just don't feed at a 5K distance. So it's 5K and above, we have feed. 5K below, it's no feed. So we might see coaches out there on the feeding station just cheering and encouraging their swimmers, but we're not going to see any feeds. And as I said, we're off right now to the women's field, and we'll give you an update as soon as we get there. Well, we're here now at the women's field, and just like the men's field, we have two Spanish swimmers out in front. However, right in there, probably now in the second position, it looks as though that's Mariah Denigan in the white Indiana cap. Yeah, she's sliding up there into that second position. Mariah, who has just really been coming on strong over the past several years in open water swimming, looking really good in that second position. We're going to see some of the similar cast of players as we saw before. And a couple swimmers, of course, we're keeping a real good eye on are going to be the swimmers from Sandpiper, Katie Grimes and Claire Weinstein. And I'm having a little bit of difficulty seeing where we're at right now, just given the glare. But I can see Katie. I can recognize that stroke. And she is right now back in about the sixth position. So we'll watch her. Katie, of course, having so much experience in open water. She's really in a real sweet spot right now with regard to the pack. She's on the inside a little bit, right in that hip pocket. Like I've talked about, the best drafting position is you want to slide in right in there on the hip. It's not at the feet like you sometimes think. You really want to be in that sweet spot where you can kind of ride that little bow wave that's created. But just like the men's field, we're seeing a much faster pace right now. Lots of control out there. I just cannot give you an idea, a specific ID on the Spanish swimmer who is leading right now. But that's what we've got. We've got Spaniards in the pretty much maybe the 1-2, 1-3 position, with Denigan in the 2 or 2-3 position. And yes, now we're seeing we're just definitely seeing some moves from the middle of the pack, and we'll probably see some lead changes coming along here. We have a swimmer from Gator right now, and I'm, again, difficult to make the ID, but she's making her way up on the inside.
All right, thank you, Mike. As we take a look at the men coming through on the final width of lap number 1, still our Spaniards out in front. It looks like Puskovic is pushing up into second place there with Gravely in the green cap. Brennan Gravely, even with one of the Spaniards in the race for what looks to be about fourth there. Trailing them, you've got one of the Japanese swimmers, and then a white cap followed by Dylan Gravely, and another about 6 swimmers there. So about 14 swimmers in the lead pack for the men as they complete the first of 3 laps. So something else, Mike, that we're seeing here today is familiarity with this course, this fantastic course at Nathan Benderson Park. It is a rowing basin. It's got a chained grid at the bottom of this facility here that allows for those salmon egg buoys to come up, and it's essentially like having lane lines here, and we can see, especially without the feed, how the swimmers are really making a very direct line through this course. And here with the women, looks like a couple athletes are really pulling on the interior here.
Absolutely. That's exactly what's happening. as we've talked about, that if you're actually sitting on top of some of these small little salmon buoys that mark the rowing lanes, if the water's clear enough, you can oftentimes see the cabling on the bottom, which is analogous, of course, to the line on the bottom of the pool. But they are keeping a much cleaner line this time around. And one of the things we're seeing now is Denigan has moved ever so slightly in the lead, but closest to the boat, you can see Katie Grimes making a real strong move right next to her. I think that might have been earlier. That was Anna Alt from Florida, who was having a real strong swim. But right now, what we're seeing is, and I do believe that earlier, I don't see Claire out here, so she may not be in this race. But Katie Grimes definitely moving on the inside, and she looks like she's making a real strong move right now. Kenzie McMahon, another swimmer out here, national teamer, world championship team last year. She's in there, but you can see this dynamic right here that's going on. Now, what that tells me, although they're moving quickly, nobody's made a break. So this pack, definitely so much energy that they can work with together when they're in a formation like this. It sort of sucks to be in the middle because that can be a tough position. But if you can find clean water in the middle, not so bad. You're definitely not carrying all of the effort for the pack as the swimmers were out in front. But right now you can see as we're coming close to the turn here that we've got Denigan is ever so slightly in the lead next to one of the Spanish swimmers, and Katie Grimes. This is going to be actually very interesting how they make this turn. This is going to be one to watch because the swimmers that are closest to the inside, they have somewhat of a disadvantage. They're splitting this rowing lane right here, and that rowing lane lines up perfectly. So this is going to be a very interesting dynamic as they make their way through this turn. And inevitably, just looking at this, somebody's going to get pinched in there in a way that might be not advantageous. So we'll keep an eye on that. It's definitely going to be interesting.
Well, there, and we can see Grimes picking up her head and getting some sighting there, moving in, and perhaps setting up her approach to this turn. As we can see there now, 3 swimmers out in front. It looks like 2 Spaniards together with Denigan.
Yeah, so you see what just happened there. See how the pack spread out? What that meant is our leaders really wanted to get their clean line in there. Everybody wanted to clean up. So the rate increased, the pack spread out a bit, and actually not so bad. Everybody made it around cleanly as the pack dynamic changed a bit. Because as you can see now, things are spread out. It's not grouped together. So the rate has increased. And I'm looking to be able to that we can give a name to the Spaniard leading right now. But right now, the Spanish swimmer has taken the lead. Denigan's fallen a bit off in the second position, and you start to see a move being made right now. If this potentially is a breakaway move by the lead swimmer, because she has, just in that short little bit since we last talked about it, she's opened up maybe a body and a half length lead. So we'll keep an eye on this and see if this is able to sustain. Certainly, what you do not want to do is let her get away in any stretch by a race that's at 5K, because they're a third of the way done now. So you don't want to let her get away. You want to stay with her, and we'll watch and see how some of the other swimmers in the pack react to this.
So, Mike, the 3 Spanish swimmers that we have, we've got Angela Martinez wearing 4:41. She was 7th in the 10K. The top finisher from Spain in the 10K, Maria de Valdez, wearing 4:66. She was 5th on Friday in the 10K. And also Candela Sanchez wearing 4:54. She was 12th in the 10K on Friday. So all contenders here from Spain, 3 athletes that finished in the top 12 in Friday's 10K. And Mike, who's that swimmer there with the black cap with the pink sort of print on it that's in the top 5?
Yeah, Michael, that's a little bit different. I think that might be one of the Japanese swimmers. I'm not 100% sure. Just difficult because she actually has her marking is just a bit different. She's not wearing one of the tattoos, so a little bit difficult for me to get an exact read. But yeah, there you can see again, look at the pack dynamic as it's spreading out. I'm going to actually give you. Geez, again, with some of the swimmers who do not have the tattoo markings for their race numbers, very difficult for us to see. Michael, that's Moriyama of Japan, who was in that cap you mentioned earlier. But what's happening now is Valdez's attempt to try to break the pack has changed, and Katie Grimes now has moved into ever so slightly into the lead position. Next to her is Mariah Denigan. So Denigan and Grimes starting to take some control of this race, although you can see if you're watching on the feed, the dynamic has slowed down. So they're keeping it together right now, and we're kind of going to see. It looks like Valdez's attempt didn't serve her well. The pack caught up, and as we talked about in earlier races, the leaders, their advantage that they have, if they're not making a breakaway, they can kind of set the tempo. But from what it appears like to me right now, Katie Grimes is starting a move and trying to break from the pack, and we'll see if this holds through, because that has been a pattern that we've seen her execute throughout her open water swimming career, especially in this 5K, where she has notably had some real strong breakaway wins. But right now, with each stroke, she's kind of making a go of it, and staying with her on her feet is Denigan, and we're seeing coming up inside from there is really it's just kind of being left to the rest of the pack, because they're really condensed back in there. There's really not much else to speak of aside from the fact that it appears that right now Grimes is taking this race and is trying to make a breakaway.
All right. Thank you, Mike. And as we look over to the men's field, still a pretty solid chunk of swimmers out in front. Probably not all 14 of that original pack. It looks like things have sort of broken up a little bit there in the men's event. Maybe about 7 swimmers leading out in front, a couple trailing them, and then another group of about 5.
Michael, we're headed over to the men's field right now. We'll give you a bit more of an update, but the visual you have there from the tower appears to be correct, and we'll see what we can get here and let you know where things stand. But again, yeah, just very notable. These guys are a little bit different, although the entire field, men and women, moving much faster. The men's clip is just clearly they're not doing any sort of this lead change that we just saw back there. They're kind of holding the same rate that I had seen before. And right now, Garage still holds his lead in that second position. Has it's Brennan Gravely is come up into that second position, and right behind him, his brother Dylan. So they had done this in the 10K, worked very closely together. Both of those swimmers out of the Sandpiper program, the program that has shown up in force throughout the years in open water and definitely found themselves in top national championship positions. So right now in the green cap representing Gators is going to be Brennan. So he's now at the University of Florida, his brother Dylan at ASU. And so they're in the 2-3 position. Behind them is Ivan Puskovich in that red Team Santa Monica cap. Adjacent to him, I cannot make an ID, but that is basically what it looks like out here. These guys are flying, and we're not going to see this change. So Valdez holding his lead right now, but both the Gravely brothers and Puskovich, the 3 top Americans, are not letting up. So this is a great race. One of the things we've talked about that is advantageous about a course like this, a beautiful course like this, is the fact that when you can sort of guarantee your position on the course and something that's fixed like a rowing basin, and you can either see the lines from the rowing lanes on the bottom, or another way you can find your position is by looking at where you are relative to the beach, because that's a pretty stable environment. It's not dynamic like we see when we do these in ocean environments. But what that does, it allows you to kind of keep your head down more. Every time you're lifting your head, you're expending more energy. The hips are dropping. So being able just to keep your head down and charge, that is such an advantage, particularly at a higher rate that these guys are traveling right here. So if you're watching on the live feed, you may say, hey, they don't seem to be breathing as much as they were lifting their head to sight. And that is just simply because this is a much easier course for them to navigate.
So the men's event has completed, or our lead pack. We got 12 athletes there in the lead pack. They are just coming up on the beginning of lap number 3, the final lap, 1.6K on each lap here in this 5K open water race, and that is Carlos Garach, winner of the 10K on Friday, with the lead ahead of the two Gravely brothers, ahead of Puskovich in 4th, and two of our competitors from Japan up there. We did see Minamide wearing 162 take 13th in the 10K, the top Japanese finisher in that event.
Okay, Michael, we're literally just right here on, I wouldn't say literally on top of them, but we're so close. It was great to see sort of the dynamic around that last turn, and they are really fighting strong right now. The Graveleys have such a sweet position to be in right now. We saw Garach had really good closing speed, but then again, it was Brennan specifically who came on so strong. And I almost had to eat my words when I called it a little bit earlier as they came into the finish chute. So we'll see how this plays out, but that's definitely what we're looking at right now. Keeping an eye also on Puskovich right now, who's also in a nice position in the 4 position. So right now, we've got Garach in that lead position. We've got Brennan Gravely in number 2, his brother Dylan in the 3rd position, Puskovich in the 4th position. Right next to him is one of our Japanese competitors. And we're going to head on over and have a look at the women's field and see what's happening in that race, and we'll catch these guys back as they get towards the finish. I will say, as we're pulling away from the field, however, you can definitely see it's almost like the 3 leaders, Garach and the 2 Gravely brothers, are making a slight getaway, but they're definitely cranking right now as you see that turn into more of sort of like a train, that pack. So we'll keep you posted on how that plays out. But right now, we're getting over back to the women's field and looking out there. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. It looks like that's still Grimes in the lead. We'll let you know here in just a second. Yeah, that is Grimes still in the lead. As we said, she really started to make a go of it. But what we're seeing in this pack, interestingly, is it's kind of evened out, which kind of tells me that Grimes may be doing a little bit of what she did in the 10K, was they tried to make an earlier breakaway, and then she kind of held back a little bit and then put on the pedal at the end. But right now, she does have a nice lead. One of the Spanish swimmers right on her tail, and on the inside, another one of the Spaniards trying to make a move. Pinched between them, Mariah Denigan in that white Indiana cap, and yeah, that's kind of what it looks like here, as one of the Spaniards trying to make a move on the inside. One of the things I'm keeping an eye on, though, is that Grimes has such a beautiful stroke. She looks far more efficient right now, and it looks like the Spaniard is executing a lot of energy to try to get up, and who is now taking the lead. I really would like to get a number for you, and we will once we're kind of in a better position, but the glare is so strong right now it's difficult to see. But Spanish swimmer has taken over the lead just ever so slightly, pulled him right there next to Grimes, and we'll just sort of watch how this dynamic plays out. This is a great race. Yeah, Grimes kind of answered that surge, which, when you're out there, there's a lot of gamesmanship going on there, and you're getting break when you try to get in there and make a push like the Spanish competitor just made, and you're sort of answered by your fellow competitor. Sometimes that can really kind of get you, and if you can keep your cool out here, we talked about that being so important in open water, is just sort of keeping a cool head. It can get really aggravating sometimes as you're exerting so much energy to feel someone either tapping your feet or just bumping up to your hips, and you got to keep it together out there, because certainly you don't want to have any kind of yellow, or of course even the worst, a red card that gets you expelled from the race right now. But this is a really, really good race in the women's field right here. The pack is moving very quickly, and they're working together. One of the things that we're going to see is you do have somewhat an advantage on that backstretch. So, there's times you want to use that wind advantage and use it potentially if you're going to do any braking, but you don't want to do that at the expense of your finishing speed. As we've seen throughout the races this weekend, so much of this can come down to the very end. And when it comes down to that very end, you want to keep everything together, because this literally pulls itself into being like a 50-yard sprint, and you've got to just be all out. So you're executing all sorts of energy systems out here, from straight aerobic all the way into just deep anaerobic work. So they're coming down this final stretch right here, coming a little bit inside. They have definitely gotten a good idea about the nature of this course. You can see the sighting has gotten so much better with regard to staying onto the rowing markers. Michael, yeah, that's Angela Martinez who's taking over the lead right now, and she's making a good push of it, but I wouldn't say that anybody's been necessarily left behind. We'll see how this plays out. Soon we will be heading over to catch the end of the men's race, and we want to make sure we get that call for you. We're going to let the women ride right now, but it is Martinez in the lead, opening up ever so slightly over Grimes. Grimes, who looks, however, very controlled, very easy, perhaps one of the more relaxed strokes in the entire field. So what that tells me is that we can by no means count her out as we close this out, but she definitely does not want to let Martinez get away from her. So we're going to go over and check the men's field right now.
So, Mike, pretty exciting here today, and just the 3 laps in this 5K. A lot of these swimmers coming off that 10K event. That was 5 laps here at Nathan Benderson Park, as the men now coming into their final straightaway, as we try to see who is leading, if we're going to see Carlos Garage double up here, winner of the 10K. And perhaps getting challenged here by the Gravely brothers. They were second and third, Brendan and Dylan, respectively, in that 10K on Friday. And fourth in that event was Joey Tepper from the University of Tennessee. And rounding out the top 5 was Ivan Puskovich, who's certainly in contention today.
Yeah, these guys are flying right now. Think about it this way. They've got about 500 meters left to go. Think about that. They've got 45 100s at this point of the game. And Brandon Gravely has stepped right up there next to Garage. They are charging. This is such an incredible pace, a great race. Puskovich right there in there as well. So this field is moving so quickly, but that's a great position right now if you're watching on the feed to see where Brandon Gravely is. He's right in that hip pocket of Garage, which gives an ever so slight advantage. But whereas earlier Garage seemed to have a pretty good lead at points where he was about maybe, he was out maybe half a body length at points, never letting the field get away from him. But he's now moving a little bit to the inside, getting away from the pack. But him and Gravely are just side by side, just punching it out, figuratively, not literally. And then right behind them is, hold it, we don't want to go on the... Yeah, this is going to be an amazing finish. If you are on the beach right now, make your way down to the finish chute. This is going to be fantastic. Brendan Gravely with an ever so slight lead over Garage. Right behind Brendan is his brother Dylan in the yellow ASU cap. And in that red cap, that's Ivan Puskovich from Team Santa Monica. So super quick as we're passing the feed dock, and this will be undoubtedly a fantastic finish.
Well, Mike, certainly a lot of white water there as what looks to be a furious approach to this final charge into the finishing chute. Any kind of strategies these guys might be using with just a couple 100 meters to go?
A strategy is charge. Just charge, which is exactly what they're doing. There's no more room for letting up or trying to see if there's any potential breakaway. This is going to be a throwdown. And Puskovich on the inside, it's really going to come down to how good is your line. It could really be differentiated by just that. Is your line ever so slightly better than your competitor? Right now, Garage really making a strong move. He's bringing in more kick. But right there with him is Gravely. So we can see that this is going to be exactly that, a super fast finish, and nobody's letting up. So there is no strategy that's going on right now aside from just give it everything you got as you make your way into this last 200 meters.
So here we go, lining up for the final 250 meters. Gravely from the University of Florida, and that yellow cap now pushing Carlos Garach, looking to repeat. He was the winner of the 10K. Puskovich in the red cap, and now it looks like 4 swimmers lined up. Dylan Gravely just slightly behind in the yellow cap. And here comes Brennan now taking the lead, taking control, it looks like. They've got about 30 meters going into that final turn buoy, the big triangular one. And then it's about an 80-meter blast into the touch pad. And Gravely now by a body length ahead of Garach.
Yeah.
Dylan Gravely in front.
Yeah, Gravely is just taking it. He has really perfect strategy, really rode that hip, and now he's going to take it in. It is clear that Brendan Gravely is going to be the 5K national champion. In that second position, however, is still potentially up to grabs, as on the inside, it may be one of the swimmers from Japan, but first, there we are, Brandon Gravely. Second, it appeared to be the Japanese swimmer, and right in there, it's just too close to call. But what an amazing race. We're going to head back and have a look at the women's field and see what we've got there.
All right, thank you, Mike. It looked like it was, we'll get a number there on our competitor from Japan. I think Garach ended up 4th there with Puskovich 3rd. Or Garach perhaps even 5th with Dylan Gravely 4th. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be Minamide Tashine of Japan. 13th in the 10K, wearing 162. With that blazing sprint, took out a few swimmers on that late charge. Jumped all the way from, it looked like about 6th place to 2nd.
Okay, Michael, we're now with the women's field as they're making their way down, and it is, as we saw earlier, basically this is coming down to, it's going to be a two-person race, but Grimes right now has about a body length lead over Martinez. So that's what we're seeing as we're coming this way. Now we've got a bit of a gust that's coming our way, so they are actually facing this headwind. But Grimes appears to be taking with each stroke just a little bit more of a lead. You can see her kick. If you're watching on the feed, you can see her bringing her kick in a little bit more right now. But we can't necessarily say that she's got it locked up. This is still a possibility that we could see Martinez come in and get in there and take it from her, but right now it doesn't appear so. Grimes looks very controlled, very composed. In the third position is Denigan, another Spaniard in the fourth position, and then Kenzie McMahon is in the fifth position right now. But that's Katie Grimes that we're watching. If you're watching on the feed, you can see her clearly out in front, very, very comfortable. Yeah, Grimes looking really comfortable as we come into the final 200 meters of this race. Looking really good. Haven't even seen her had to put on a real big burst. At this point, as we noted in the men's, it was just such a tightly packed. Grimes really in control at this point. Okay, go to the outside. They're coming on the inside. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
So it'll be tough to imagine that Angela Martinez of Spain, 7th in the 10K, can match the closing speed of Katie Grimes, World Championship silver medalist in the 400 individual medley. As they come into the about last 125 meters now, Grimes in control, looking to double up here at Nathan Benderson Park. Already one title. That was the 10K on Friday.
Yeah, Grimes really has a lot of control in this race. And I'm just not seeing the ability for Martinez to get in there right now. Grimes now just putting on a little bit more. She's going to take this. This is going to be much more of a clear 1-2-3 finish. Grimes is going to win this race. Martinez is going to be our silver medalist. And that is Mariah Denigan with the Indiana University cap in that third position. So 1, 2, 3. You can see what we've got right there as they head into the finish chute. Katie Grimes, so relaxed, so at ease, easily going to come in and become the 2023 5K national championship here. There it is. Closer race there for Kenzie McMahon. Kenzie McMahon putting on a great push in there. There it is, Kenzie McMahon in the fourth position. We got some great racing here in this follow-up pack, much more akin to what we saw in the men's race.
21. They just easily go 22. Yeah, but I can't get too big because I can't do it too much. It's like, we'll see about that. Dude, what was that 240 at NCAA? I'm like, bro, what? He's like, ooh, 133. Everyone, 131. 28.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, just a few moments here as we get final tabulations of the order of finish. We've got the video review together with a touchpad, making sure to double check and get every single athlete correctly allocated here. The competition course is closed. They will be adjusting the buoys for the next race, the 7.5K for the juniors. But you can warm up to the east of the finishing platform. That is always open. If swimmers do want to get in and warm up, it is available to the right of the finishing platform. That is available for you all. So in just a few moments here, we'll be calling for our top 8 finishers of the women's and men's 5K Open Water National Championship. We'll have an awards ceremony for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we had an iPhone that was found that is over at the medal stands. If you have a missing iPhone, please head over to the white tents there. We've got that. We are also now staging for the awards ceremony for the USA Swimming Open Water National Championship, the men's 5K event. We'll have our men's award ceremony up first. Award ceremony taking place at the 5 Open Water National Championship, teardrop-shaped flags besides the white tents where we had the athlete roll call. And presenting the awards will be a referee from these championships, Mr. Hector Acevedo. And leading off here with your men's 5K Open Water National Championships, your 8th place finisher representing Japan, Sujimori Kaito. Mr. Sujimori, if you're around, 8th place finisher. 7th place finisher representing Spain, Guillem Pujol. There we see Kaito Sujimori taking your 8th place medal, 7th place Guillem Pujol of Spain. Congratulations, gentlemen. Your 6th place finisher from Texas A&M University, Trey Dickey. Fifth place finisher from Sun Devil Swimming, Dylan Gravely. Your 4th place finisher representing Spain, Carlos Garach. Carlos Garach is also our 18 and under national champion. Congratulations, Carlos. 3rd place finisher overall representing Team Santa Monica, Ivan Poskovich. Your runner-up for Japan, Minamide Taishini. And your 2023 USA Swimming Open Water National Champion in the 5K from the University of Florida, Brennan Gravely. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating all the top finishers in the Open Water 5K event led by your champion, Brennan Gravely. Once again, we do have a found iPhone there at the awards staging area. Found iPhone at the awards staging. And just a minute or two, we'll have the award ceremony for the women's 5K. top 8 finishers in the women's event. If you could please start collecting near the award staging area. Thank you. All right, here we go with the Women's Awards ceremony for the 2023 USA Swimming Open Water Nationals, the Women's 5K event. Our top 8 finishers being recognized here. Once again, reporting to the Open Water National Championship, the blue teardrop flags besides the white tent. Presenting awards for the women's events, Andrea Kelly. And your 8th place finisher representing Japan, Kato Hanano. There's your 8th place finisher, Hanano of Japan. In 7th place, also from Japan, Moriyama Yokumi. Yukimi of Japan there, 7th place finisher. In 6th place from the Sarasota Sharks, Michaela Mattis. Your 5th place finisher representing Spain, Maria de Valdez. In 4th place from the University of Alabama Swim Club, Kenzie McMahon. In 3rd place and representing Indiana Swim Club, Mariah Denigan. Taking the silver medal and representing Spain, Angela Martinez. And for the second time this weekend, your 2023 USA Swimming Open Water National Champion, this time in the 5K event, from Sandpipers of Nevada, Katie Grimes. And Katie Grimes, also your 18 and under national champion. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for all your top finishers in the women's 5K event led by your champion, Katie Grimes. Another fantastic day of racing here at Nathan Benderson Park in Sarasota. We had the Senior National Championship here in the 5K to get things started. We'll have about an hour here, a little bit less until the start of our Junior National Championship. It'll be 7.5K, 4 laps around this course, starting off with the men's Junior National 7.5K, and then about 5 minutes later we'll have the women's event starting. We'll be looking to have a roll call and pre-race briefing, I believe, at about 45 after.